Hello. Come here. Say hi to Kane. He's a bit anxious right now.
Like your mummy.
Yeah. Okay, so today's video is going to be very different. It's going to be advice I wish someone had given me before I turned 21. And I think I am a reliable source for this since I'm closer to 30 than 20 or 21. Yeah. My early 20s was a wreck, a disaster, a shizzle whiz show. I'm here to look out for y'all as your internet big sister.
What do you think?
I've made a list. Let me write it. Oh my gosh, are you okay? 21 things I knew before 21, or at 21, or like in my early 20s, whatever. Do with this information what you want. The first thing, high standards does not mean that you are high maintenance. You can know exactly what you want and what you deserve, and that does not make you insane or crazy. It does not mean that you think that you are better than someone else. It just means that you think highly of yourself, as you should. Number 2, this is situational, but this is something I, hey girl, strongly believe, and this might be very controversial, but I do believe in forgiveness. But again, this is situational, but you can forgive, but do not forget. This is a way to protect yourself. Of course, we are all absolutely flawed, and you can't expect forgiveness if you don't give it. But when it comes to certain relationships and there is that repetitive cycle of hurt and betrayal, you need to make note of that. And that also leads into be protective of yourself and your people. Always protect yourself and always protect the people that you love. Because in a lot of situations, you're not going to be protected by others. That's why you gotta do it, okay? Treat yourself like your best ally. Any given difficult situation, you are your best ally. This one's more fun. There's nothing wrong with dressing up and wearing makeup. And there's also nothing wrong with not. So many people are gonna be like, why are you dressed up? Who are you dressed up for? Why do you care? It's obviously for myself. I don't need to impress you. I'm already impressive. You need to have that mindset. It's okay to spend alone time, but know the difference between self-care and isolation. Self-care is, I mean, that's self-explanatory. You are taking care of yourself, but isolation is hurting yourself. Know the difference between those two. It is in your best interest. Stop. This one's fun. Read. Read whatever you want. It could be fantasy, it could be romance, it could be history, whatever you're into. Read about it, because reading is so good for you. And don't be embarrassed by the things that you love to read. The older you get, there's something so comforting about spending alone time and reading a book and drinking wine. Anyways, this one's pretty obvious, but always educate yourself. But how I like to do so is by listening to others and their experience. There is no greater form of education than listening to other people's stories.
Kane,
Come here. This one is a little bit more emotional, but remember that your parents were kids once too that needed to hear I love you more. When I thought of that, but when I first thought of that, it just put so many things into perspective for me, because a lot of times we forget that our parents had a lot of struggles growing up. Now, if you have a toxic or abusive relationship with your parents, I'm not talking about that, but try not to be as hard on your parents. And that is something I had to learn and realize, hey, I need to change that, because my parents were once kids. They had their struggles. They are learning and growing with me. They're also trying to figure it out while navigating through their issues. Remember that, kids. My parents better love me after I said that. Get into crafts and projects. This could be anything. It could be painting, it could be crocheting. I got into making jewelry. Look, I made this ring. I'm not flipping you off, look. Always have crafts and hobbies. I think it is so important to do. You can literally do this while watching the show. I think it's so good for you to have interests besides your phone. And I'm also talking about myself. It's okay to change your mind, and it's also okay to not know. I don't know most of the time. I don't know. I have no idea. and that is okay. I don't know is enough. And it's honest, and also it shows your humility and acceptance of like, I'm human and I'm figuring it out. And that's Gucci, okay? Continuing, there is nothing wrong with loving where you came from and needing to stay. It's okay if you want to stay in your hometown. It's okay if you come back to your hometown. It's okay if you have no idea where you're going or what you're gonna do. That does not make you a failure. That doesn't mean that you haven't experienced enough life, or your life is boring, or you're boring. That's just your life, and your life is worth living. Just because you're growing up, it does not mean that you should lose your imagination or your dreams. Setting boundaries does not make you difficult. Being a people pleaser will only make your life harder. Speaking from personal experience, I really struggle with people pleasing, and I used to say like, well, it's bad, but it's also like a nice quality of mine. It will hurt you in the end, time and time again. Practicing standing up for yourself or saying no, even in the most subtle ways, it is still important because you've used your voice. This is another thing that I really struggled with in my early 20s, and I wish someone had told me this. You know when the relationship is over. You know. And I'm specifically talking about romantic relationships. You know, this does not serve me anymore. I do not serve the other person anymore. We're not going anywhere. We're not growing together. We're hurting one another. You know when the relationship is over. It is so hard to do this, and trust me, I'm speaking from personal experience. You gotta find the strength to walk away. Not just for you, but also for them. It's hard. So I know. That's why I'm giving you advice that I wish I knew. This is something else I used to struggle with, but people used to always tell me, you're way too nice. You're too nice, you put up with too much. And although it's kind of true because I am a people pleaser and I do have a lower tolerance to BS baloney, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being nice and having the strength to choose kindness over pettiness. Now, don't get me wrong, I can be petty and sassy, but just because a few people make those comments does not mean that you should be insecure about it or that you should change that part of yourself. Although I'm not saying that you should let people walk all over you, there is strength in choosing that and saying like, I want to be better. I want to do better. Let's proceed. Getting older, aging is good. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that if you want to change or enhance certain features that it's bad. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with doing things that help you feel comfortable or confident. I don't think you should be getting work done out of fear or anxiety about aging or not being pretty enough or not fitting a certain standard. Aging is good. It means that you have lived. And so many people haven't been able to do that. It's a boat. Yeah, Captain. They have a fluffy dog. Do what you want, okay? But know that it's okay to age. I'm saying that in my 20s, but you know what I mean? Like, people are so weird about it. I love seeing Pamela Anderson, like, rocking her age and just looking so effortless and graceful. I just think it's so beautiful. But it's also okay to be Demi Moore and freeze your face and your body. That will probably be me, if I'm being honest with you. There's nothing wrong with either of those decisions, as long as you know deep in your heart that there is nothing wrong with aging and there is nothing wrong with looking your age. This one, I think it's gonna be kind of hard to word, so I hope you can follow along with me. But growing up, I used to be, and I still am, like, so insecure about certain things about myself, especially when it comes to my appearance. This is very, very human, right? What I have learned, and something that works for me, instead of pursuing this like heightened, enthusiastic self-love, I have chosen to find acceptance. I chose to accept, this is how I look. My body is changing because I'm in my late 20s. I don't like that I have these like personality flaws, but like I'm working with it and I want to do better and be better. I'm accepting who I am, where I am, what I look like right now, instead of either constantly bringing myself down or being like, oh my god, I love myself, I'm so amazing. Because trust me, it is unrealistic and you are setting yourself up for failure. It's like a neutral, be Switzerland. Be Switzerland when it comes to you and the dialogue you have with you. You know what I'm saying? Something else that I think is super important to figure out in your youth, budgeting and finances. They don't teach you this in school. So you gotta figure it out. Watch YouTube videos about it, ask questions. You gotta have something in your emergency account savings because you never know what could happen. It's encouraged kind of to just like buy whatever you want, spend whatever you want. And I think it is so important to learn how to budget. As someone that loves you and wishes someone had explained that to me sooner. So I had to put that in, so it was like 21. 2 more left. Is this like free therapy for y'all? Gosh. I don't know if I'm equipped to give advice, but I have learned a lot throughout the years because, as I told you, my early 20s was a shiz Louise show, and I literally had to figure it out, and I felt like such a failure. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful that that was how I learned these lessons, and I'm so grateful for these lessons because I have never been happier. Things are just good. Sure, there are things that I'm insecure about or I question. I wake up some days and I'm like, what am I doing in my life and am I doing enough? But that does not mean that you are not enough. The last 2. Every year at the beginning of the year, for New Year's Eve, write in a journal a list. Write a list of goals that you have. It could be anything. It could be personal, career goals. For me, it was going to the gym. I have a gym membership and I conquered that fear. Whatever it may be, make a list. You want to print out pictures, make a little mood board, do that. And then at the end of the year, pull out that journal, go through the list and see what you have or have not accomplished. What are some areas I succeeded in? What did that look like? How did that make me feel? And then if there are certain things that you didn't succeed in, ask yourself like, is this still important to me? Was this meant to be? Or is this something I would like to work on in the following year? Set goals that are realistic and fulfilling. Last but not least, my favorite piece of advice, be cringe. Right, Kane? Be cringe. There's nothing wrong with being cringe. I used to think I was cringe. Other people used to think I was cringe because I was posting videos on the internet and I dropped out of college. I felt so lost and mentally unstable, but I just kept doing my thing. I was like, I like making videos, and then it became a job, and now I'm super, super happy, but I would not have been able to do that if I stayed in constant fear of being cringe. And this applies to so many areas of your life. Let's say you have a dream about like being an actress, but you're like, I can't tell people that because that is so cringy. Why is it cringy? Because a couple people think it's weird? Okay, well, they're weird. And do you even want to have their approval or be their friends? Are you impressed by them? If you're not impressed by them, like, why do you care what they think about you? Again, easier said than done. But that is why I say, be cringe. From a smaller town, and so I would hear what people would say and it would hurt my feelings and I would question what I was doing, and then I was like, you know what, this makes me happy, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Let's say you're existing, you're in high school, and people are making fun of the way you do your hair and makeup. Girl, we can look back at my pictures from high school. They're so embarrassing to me, but I'm also like, I wanted to do my hair and makeup that way. Is that a crime? No. Express yourself. Pursue that dream. Talk about that dream. Go on that job interview. Go ask that guy or girl out. That is my advice. 21 things I wish I knew at 21. I hope you took something away from that. I'm so sorry if this video is loud, but I'm at the lake and he's hyperventilating. I love you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And just know that you're enough and you're doing great. We're all figuring it out, okay? Quit being hard on yourself. Bye-bye. Say bye. Bye-bye.